Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and today I have my finale for my 24 in 2024 and my intro to my 25 in 2025. Now, back in November, I did post my plan to pan, so I showed you my 25 items, but I showed you the amount that was in them at the time of filming. So I have done new weights, new measurements, new B-roll, new photographs. I have done everything as of January 1st. So this is where we are actually starting with my 25 items. So we will quickly run through the items that I had in my 24 in 2024, see how many I was able to finish up, see how far I got. I did also pull my panning journal out so that I could tell you guys like around about like how many times I used these items in 2024. And that way, again, you guys know that I'm a nerd for the numbers and the tracking, and you guys seem to like it too. So that's what we're going to go over today. I do have my baggie of items that I was able to finish out of my 24 in 2024, and then a couple empties from December, and then definitely, like I said, we have some items that I had some really good progress on. So if you want to see how I did with my 24 items for 2024 and then see where we're starting with my 25 items for this year, then stick around. I am getting everything pulled up and we are getting into it. All right, so I did want to mention one thing because you guys know I will ramble in my videos, but you might see my eye is swollen again. So I finally figured it out, and I need to actually call my doctor today and call like the nurses line and see what they want me to do. So this is not a sty. This is a clogged tear duct. So every single time that my eye got swollen and inflamed, I had cried the night prior. So I am swollen again, mainly because I was swollen last week because more and more drama. A neighbor's dog, neighbor and friend, her dog had gotten out of their house and unfortunately got hit, and she was not home. So I actually went and collected her dog from the road, which kind of re-traumatized me with not only Malcolm, but also my dog Simon, who passed tragically back in 2022. So that, like, I boo-hooed that night, of course, very appropriate for me to boo-hoo. And that is actually the night that I figured out that there was a correlation between me crying and my eye swelling. So clogged tear duct. Last night, I'm so upset with myself because there was no reason for me to cry. I started re-watching The Crown and I shed one tear. I cried one tear during an episode of The Crown, and my eye is swollen today. Like, it immediately like swelled up within like 45 minutes of me shedding the one tear. And I came in here and I did some like lymphatic drainage. Like, I tried. But I'm pretty sure, because I have a lot of allergy issues, that my tear duct that drains into my like sinuses, I'm pretty sure that is swollen, and that is what's causing, because again, it's only on this eye, it's not on this eye. So I have a clogged tear duct. So anytime I come on here and my eye is swollen, it's because I was crying, which I'm not a crier. So I'm like, can I get over this so I can stop crying and making my eyes swell? But it gets really red, really tender. Like, I can feel that it hurts right now because that tear duct underneath my eye is just full and it can't drain. So if you guys have ever had clogged tear ducts, I know in children, sometimes they have to do a surgery to kind of open them. But for me, I think it's just swelling in my sinuses. But if you guys have ever had a clogged tear duct, let me know, and let me know what you did. But I need to call my doctor and call the nurses line and see what they want me to do. But I know, buddy. Washburn, it is the Washburn show. I think that you guys know this. You guys all enjoy the Washburn breaks, even though he shakes all of my equipment. But you're good, buddy. You're a good boy. I know. Can you go lay down so I can film? This is not your show every time. So for my 24 and 2024, I'm going to lay out all the items that I was able to finish. We'll go over very quickly because I do this every update. We'll go over how many items I finished per quarter. Then we'll get into the items that I finished in the fourth quarter. Then we will roll into what my progress looks like on these items. So let me set this out real quick so you guys don't hear all the crinkles from the bag. So for the first quarter of 2024, I did finish 4 items. I finished my Makeup Geek liner in Nude. I finished my NYX glitter primer with the reflective hollow packaging. I finished my Soul Body bronzing balm, so the just the cream bronzer. And then I did finish a foundation, which is the Shiseido Radiant Lifting Foundation. So this is the more dewy one. I have finished the regular Shiseido self-setting, you know, not the Radiant, but it's the Synchro Skin. I have finished one of those 2023, and then I tried the more dewy one, and I finished this one in 2024. In the second quarter, I had 2 empties. I finished my Dallas blush. So of course I just kept the outside packaging of this one. I had ripped it off the component just because I wanted to show the original packaging. And this one I think was from 2017 when I bought it. So definitely needed to use up this blush, but I'm very sad that it's gone. But I do have a dupe for it, so it's okay. Then I did finish up a bronzer, which was my Juvia's Place Cool Toned Bronzer. It is in the light duo, the more cool toned one. I had taken the pans out and put them in these Makeup Geek compacts because they fit perfectly. So I did finish a bronzer, a powder bronzer. So I had a cream bronzer and a powder bronzer empty. Now we're rolling into the third quarter. So I finished up my Summer Fridays lip butter balm, and this was just in vanilla beige, so I finished this. Then I finished my Misha BB cream. I have this in the shade 21. Love this, always have this in my collection and rotation. And then I did finish up my Juvia's Place I Am Magic Natural Radiant Foundation, so finished this one. I finished the e.l.f. Poreless Primer Mini, so this was just the mini, but it took me forever to use. I finished up my Marc Jacobs Infamous Lipstick. This was the long haul item that it took me like a year and a half of focus to finish this lipstick. And then the last thing that I finished in the third quarter was my ColourPop liner in Oh Snap. And if you guys have not been around for a while and not followed all of my project pans, this is how big the ColourPop liners get before they are empty. And that is in relation to the cap, just so you guys can see. In case you're panning your own ColourPop lip liner. So those are all the items that I panned in the first, second, and third quarter. Let me put them back in their bag so I don't drop them on the floor. Then we're going to go over the items that I finished in the fourth quarter. But as I'm putting these away, that's 3 foundations that I finished through this project. So very, very happy about that. So I have 4 additional empties for the fourth quarter of 2024, and you guys saw this one in my project pan. I had finished this up at the end of November, and so this is my Sephora gloss in Busy. You guys saw all the marks on this one get used up. So very happy that one of these glosses is gone. Then the new empties, which again, you guys saw these in my project pan update that went up on the 5th. And so I used up my e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. We tracked from November of last year is when I started using this one, and we tracked the whole way down. And then I had an empty on my Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Makeup Grip Primer. I told you guys in my last video that this one is, I'm never repurchasing this one. I had panned one of these before and I liked it, but this one, I don't know if just it's reacting differently with the skincare that I have, with the foundations that I have, but this is not working well for me. It gets too sticky. And then the last empty of the year was my Urban Decay liner in Vice. And again, if you guys missed how small these get, typically they get a little bit smaller than the cap. and that is when they are done. So this was my Urban Decay liner in Vice, and this was our last empty. So if I look at my numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, nope, 14, 16. So I ended up completely using up 16 out of my 24 items. So I'm okay with that because a lot of these are more long haul, like full products that I was trying to pan. And so let's go into my items. I have them in this basket here. My items here that I did not, well, I will say that I think I hit goal on one of them, but of course, if my objective is to use them up completely, then I did not hit the goal. Pardon me, my voice cracked there for a second. But let's look at my Bobbi Brown corrector, and I'm trying to finagle all these baskets around so I don't drop anything. So this is originally the Bobbi Brown stick corrector. And I like the stick because you get double the amount of product than you do in the pot. And I think mainly that is because the product that is below the plastic in the stick, that is what the double the product is. So when I got flush with the packaging on my stick, I did dig everything out of that stick because you guys told me there was so much product in there, and you're absolutely correct. I put it into my empty Bobbi Brown corrector pot, and so this is where we're at now. What is so incredible about this one is that, and I didn't kind of tell you guys numbers because a lot of these things that were in my project pans, I told you guys how many uses it took to use them up total. But let me look at my Bobbi Brown corrector. I have, let me see. So as far as I started using the Bobbi Brown corrector stick in 2023, I used it all of 2024, and I'm still going on what's in here. So total between 2023 and 2024, I got 396 uses on this corrector stick. I mean, come on. That's why I don't mind spending that much money on a Bobbi Brown product, because I got close to 400 uses on it and we still have this much left. That to me is insane. Absolutely insane. So let me actually go back in my book because I think some of you will have questions about this one in case you didn't watch my project pan, or if you're new, hi, welcome. The e.l.f. Halo Glow, I do 2 dips in to mix it with my foundation. And so I got 228 uses on this product to empty it. So since November all the way around to the end of the year, 228 uses to empty this. So again, really good bang for your buck for that product. But 400 uses and counting on this Bobbi Brown corrector stick. And I've already repurchased the backup to be able to start using a new one once that one is empty. But let's go up here to my next one. So this is my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. And so I wanted to, again, empty this out completely, but we didn't quite get there. But I have that much left in there. So I did squish it all to one side, and that is very, very shallow in there, if you guys can see. So we are getting very, very close to this one being done. But for this product, between last, let me turn my page, between, I think I started using this in 2023. When did I purchase this? So I purchased this in September of 2023. So I did start using this in 2023. I have a total of 194 uses on this between 2023 and 2024. So again, I have another one of these in backup ready to go when this one's done. So we will see how I do on this product for the remainder of the time. And any time that I have an empty, it'll end up in my buys and buys, and I will try to tell you guys like the amount of uses that I ended up getting on something. Or if you guys are ever trying to use up a product and you know that I've worked on it in the past or I've panned it in the past, Drop me a comment down below and ask me what the empty weight on the container is, and I at least can tell you that, because that gives you an idea how much more product you have to go in that item. But the Never Ending Brow Pencil is our next item that was on my 24 and 2024, and that is my Benefit Give Me, what is this? But it's the Gimme Brow Volumizing Pencil, and I have this much left on it. And I have been using this since, let me go back in my brows because I'm curious when I used up my last one and when I started using this. So my brow pencil, I used up my ABH brow pencil in May of 2024. So since May of 2024, I have been using this pencil, and this is how far we have gone down. Absolutely incredible. This thing will be around for a lifetime. I am curious if I will even be able to get through this in 2025. Very curious. So this one is still hanging around. And then, like I said, hopefully I'll have my B-roll popping up with my comparisons and maybe my weights if I do it that way. But I am definitely curious about this brow pencil. Now, this thing is hanging around longer than I thought it would because it only took me 6 months to use up the counterpart to this bronzer. But this is the Juvia's Place warm toned bronzer in their light duo. So again, I depotted it, I put it in its own compact, and this is where we're at. I hit pan on this one in the beginning of November, so that is 2 more months worth of use to be able to get to this size pan. And this thing is slow going, but I'm okay with that because I'm not going to overuse a product, even though my cheeks are a little bit warm today, but that's because the blush I'm wearing. That is not because of this bronzer, but definitely we'll see how long this takes. I hope this is an empty for our first update. Actually, this one is actually not, it's in my project pan, but it's not in my 25 and 2025. So you guys will see me pan this in my project pan. So if you want to see me go ahead and expand that pan and get this used up, make sure to check out my project pan video. But we are still working on this one here. And actually, how many uses did I get on that bronzer in a 6-month time frame? Because I used up the other bronzer, I think at the end of June. So I started using this one pretty much like on the 1st of July. I had 126 uses to get to this point with this bronzer. 126. So we will see how many more uses we have to go on that bronzer. But our next item that was in my 24 and 2024 was my Chick Lit blush. And again, you guys saw this in my project pan that I was using this, and I did roll this into my project pan to finish in 2025 before I roll into my next focus blush. But I think that, hold on, let me blow that off. So whenever you guys saw it in my project pan, I did not have that side pan, and now we have side pan on that blush. I did use this, I think, 1 additional time. Yep, I used it 1 additional time, and I did kind of focus over there. So I did finally hit side pan on this. You guys voted in my project pan video for me to repress this. So I'm going to repress this. I want to move everything to the center, and I'm going to use it that way. So you guys will see a different version of this blush in my next update for my project pan. But I hope to get some really good progress on this. Now, to look to see how many uses I had on that, I need to go back to my actual blush tracking for my project pan for last year, and let me see how many uses I had on this in 2024. So I had a total of 70 uses on this blush to get it to this point. So 70 uses on just one blush, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that number. That number makes me feel comfortable. So definitely we will be seeing that one continue to get smaller and smaller. Now I did have my cream blush rolled in. So this was the majority of this cream blush, which is my red pink blush, was the ColourPop blush stick in Pretty Thing mixed in with some lipsticks and other stuff. And so we made really good progress, really big pan on this one. I want to melt these back down and get them flat again for 2025, but I wanted to film this video so you guys could see the humongous pan on this cream blush. Now it is deep, like it goes up to pretty much the ridge of this packaging, but we hit really good pan in there. So this one, I'm going to remelt this, which one of you guys left in my comments like, hey, can you show how you make your cream blushes and how you melt them back into the compacts? I will try to remember, editing Aaron, remember this. I have a short where I go over how I make my cream blushes, and I will make sure to link that down below. But I commented back to you like, hey, I have a short about it. I think I only have like 4 shorts on my channel, so it should be very easy to find that particular short in my like channel like list of things that I have up on my channel. So I am very happy to have that. Now, how many times did I use that blush to get to that point? I used this blush 121 times in 2024. So lots of use on that one. And the brown one that I have also has a huge pan on it. And I think I used that one about equivalent to the same. But usually I like reaching for the red one a little bit better. The next item that I had on my 24 and 2024 was my Tarte highlighting palette, and you guys saw, or if you've seen over the course of my Project Pan, that I repressed all of my highlighters into this palette in March of last year, and my goal was to use up the second shade, but my goal was also to hit pan on all of them. I did hit pan on all of them. The second shade, I had a pretty big pan at the beginning of last year, and I actually repressed this halfway through the year and hit another big pan. So there is very little left in there. It's very thin in there. So we will continue to work on this highlighter this year. So this is the beautiful highlighter palette that I made, and I love it to pieces. And I was able to hit that goal of pan in every single shade, and pretty decent pan in that as well. Then the last item that was on my 24 and 2024 that I did not reach goal on is this one. You guys know, the Never Ending lipstick. So this is the Hourglass Confession lipstick in If Only, and we have that much left. But still, that much left is like 6 months of lipstick if I use it like 10 times a month. It is insane how much, how pigmented and how little of this lipstick that you actually need. So there was a couple months where I was using it and it would go down by 0.01 of a gram. I couldn't make a new mark in my panning journal. This thing is just going to last forever, but it's okay. That means that it is worthwhile for, now I got this in a FabFitFun, so I did not buy this, but this is a $39 lipstick. So I think that if it went really quickly, I would be more upset about the, like, not necessarily quality, but like the bang for your buck that you end up getting. So $39 for this lipstick, but it'll last forever. So that is the update on our items that we have in my 24 and 2024. So we used up 16, 8 were not hit, even though, like I said, my Tarte highlighter palette, I kind of hit goal, but I still wanted to empty out that second shade. So I'm not going to give myself credit for that one. I will give myself credit for the amazing pans in there, but I'm not going to give myself total credit for it. So definitely I am very excited about continuing to use these items, continuing to track them with you, but let's roll into what my 25 items for this year looks like, where we're starting, our starting weights, all of that. I will give you that snapshot now. All right, so our 25 items that I want to use up completely in 2025. We are going to start with my Fenty Ease Drop Skin Tint, and you guys saw me use this in my deck of panning. I have not used it since the beginning of the year or since filming that update, so we are starting at that mark right there, and we are starting at a weight of 47.4 grams on this foundation. I've put this back in my drawers, and I'm going to pull this back out in the summertime when it gets very hot here. It's actually very cold. We're getting that like cold snap like rolling through, and so we have like the winter advisories and stuff going on right now. So it is very cold in Florida right now. So we will see how that goes. But this, I think, lends better to the hotter months. So I'm going to put this away until summertime. So we won't see any progress on that during the first update as far as like quarter 1, but we will definitely get working on that one. The product that we will see plenty of movement on in the first quarter is my Estee Lauder Double Wear. So I have been tracking this in my regular project pan, so you guys will see whenever that's an empty. I did use it today, so I ended up having to tip it to pump it out, but our mark at the end of the year was right there. And so very little left. And so I almost feel that a month, maybe a month and a week worth of use on this, and this will be an empty. I really do like this foundation. So tune into my regular project pan to watch me pan this very soon. But our weight at the beginning of the year was 91.90 grams. So very happy about that one. I do have 2 more foundations in my roster for this year. Another one of the Misha BB creams, again in the shade 21. And so I love this. Like I said, I always keep this in my collection. This is the perfect mixer for me because I have more cool toned skin. I like the gray tone of this because I feel like it tones down foundations a little bit. If the foundation is not a perfect match for me, it tones it down a little bit. So I love this one. I already got plenty of use on this. Let me actually look how many uses I have on my Misha BB cream. I had 78 uses last year. So we're starting with 78 uses. On my Estee Lauder, I had 81 uses. So 81 already in 2024, rolling into 2025. So what other? And I only had 19 uses on my Fenty skin tint. And so with our Misha BB cream, we're starting at 58.04 grams on that one. The last foundation that I have, actually kind of last, and you'll see, but I have my mini of my Tier cushion foundation. This is not my favorite, but I do want to use it because I purchased it. I only have, I think, like 6, 7 uses on this so far, and so I'm going to use this as much as I can. I know there's such little product in here. There's only 4.5 grams or 0.15 ounces in this, so very little product. So I will see how many uses I get out of this mini, but our mini is starting at 33.91 grams. And I say kind of sorta last. Let me shift in my bucket. But that is because this is technically a powder foundation. So this is my Makeup Forever, and I just have powder foundation, the Matte Velvet Skin powder foundation. And I keep different little puffs in there because the sponge puff that came in there has long degraded. But you guys can see I have a nice little pan in this. This is the powder that I keep in my purse for touch-ups because it does have that little bit of extra coverage. Like if my foundation wears off on my nose or around my chin where it typically does wear off, this does really well to kind of add some coverage back and blend everything back together. Plus, because it's a matte powder foundation, it does soak up some of my oils as well. And for future Erin, for your measurements, I am weighing this without the puff inside because I do have a couple different kinds of puffs that I will rotate into this product. So I am weighing this without the puff. And so we do have 83.87 starting weight on this one. This is old enough in my collection that I want to see it gone, but again, I just keep it in my purse, and so I'm only using it when I'm needing to touch up like on the go. And I'm going to set it over there so I don't drop it on my floor and it ends up in a million pieces. So the next item that I have on here is my NARS Soft Matte Concealer. So I did put my number 3, even though the one I'm working on right now is my number 2. With already having close to, 200 uses on this one and it not being gone, me rolling in the brand new one would not benefit me or anybody. So I'm going to basically roll this one back in. And I only have 4 minutes left on my memory card, so let me unload my memory card real quick and then I will come back to you guys. All right, we are back with a formatted SD card. I need to just buy myself another SD card, but it takes like 4 minutes to format it, so I'm not that upset about the inconvenience. So I was talking about my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I almost feel like I have like another 3 or 4 months left in here, even though there's so little product. You need so little because the coverage is just amazing. So I'm rolling this in. There's no point in me rolling in the brand new one. No point. It will serve no purposes while I still have this one going. So this is the one that we're going to be tracking. This is the one we're going to be looking at. So we are starting at 28.89 grams on this concealer. And like I said, we will continue to track when this is empty. I will tell you guys how many uses I got out of that little pot of concealer. And I buy those during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty whenever they're half off. So I feel like I get amazing bang for my buck with those concealers because it's just such a beautiful full coverage matte formula that helps with my hormonal acne, which while I was formatting my SD card, somebody commented about a product that their dermatologist gave them to help with hormonal acne, and thank you so much for that. I need to schedule my yearly skin check with my dermatologist, so I will definitely bring that up with her whenever I see her this year. But lots of little pencil products in here. Another thing that we're rolling back in just because I'm curious and I want to track this with you guys, but that's the Benefit Brow Pencil. So we are starting same thing at the end of the year, starting at the same mark. So it's in my book, it's in my tracking. And so we're starting at 6.34 grams on this product. So again, I just want to see how long this little pencil will last me, because tell me why, after I already have a full ABH pencil, which I know those take me about 7 or 8 months to use up, I purchased another one of these at TJ Maxx. So I have like 3 years of brow pencils. I do not need to purchase any more brow pencils because you guys will see these in my inventory for years to come. But we are getting into some new products that we're going to be rolling in. So I do have 3 bronzers and bronzing products rolled into this project. Now these will not look any different from my like plan to pan video because I've not finished my other bronzer, but we have my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Bronzer, which again smells wonderful. So this is brand new, untouched, so 87.27. I think I'm going to start on this one once my Juvia's Place bronzer is done. This is going to be the first one that I'm going to start on to see how long it takes me to pan this. I know so many people that ended up getting like a mini of this or like a trial size of this in a Sephora like freebie years ago, and you guys have had such trouble panning that bronzer. So I don't know what I'm getting myself into. This is the first time that I have used this formula and this product, so I'm very curious how long it'll take me to pan that. Same thing with my NARS Laguna bronzer. This one has not been touched because I have not finished my other bronzer. This one is warmer than, or even a little bit darker. Now I have used up a mini of Laguna in the past, so just if you guys want to see the comparison, Laguna is definitely a deeper shade. Let's see if I can get the lights to catch them right. I look like one of the fish look like a fish. I'm over here with my gills. But this is a little bit of a darker and more pigmented, in my opinion, bronzer. So this one I'll use up during the second half of the year once I get a little bit more sun over the summer. But I am very curious what those will look like as we go along and as we track. But the Laguna one, we're starting at 75.96 as our weight. Then the last bronzer product is going to be another one of my Soul Body / ColourPop bronzing balms. This is actually the 5th one that I have worked on. So I've emptied 4 of these before in the past. So I kind of have an idea of how long it takes me to use these. So I've already started using this one. We already have a very nice crater, but no pan yet. So we will see how far I get with this one. I suspect that I'll get another 4 to 5 months out of this, so I'm curious what this will look like at our update for the first quarter, and we'll see how long it takes me to go through another one of these. Andy had messaged me, and she's like, hey, the bronzer bombs are on the ColourPop like last chance page. She's like, I hope they're not discontinuing them, and oh my god, why would ColourPop discontinue this? Why? It's beautiful, and you get 30-something grams, 31 grams of product in here. Why? I did not panic buy. I did not go on there and scoop some more up. I think at this point, since I've probably used up half of this, I probably could go onto the ColourPop website and reorder another one of these to just hold and back up. I might end up doing that, but I hope that ColourPop is not discontinuing this product because it is so beautiful. It is so worth the money with how many uses you get out of this if you use it as a face bronzer versus an all over the body bronzer. This is just gorgeous. I hope they don't do away with that one. But we are getting into my blush. So I only do have one blush on this list, and that is my Hourglass Mood Exposure blush. So this is my next oldest blush in my collection. I have used a little bit of it where like the dome is kind of leveled out, but definitely there is still a dome in there. And so we are going to be using this beautiful cool toned blush. And this, I think that I can layer this with pretty much anything. So if I even use my cream blushes underneath and then put this over top, or if I put this on and then top it with something a little bit warmer, like this is also a beautiful blush to kind of blend things out because it has that hourglass like finishing powder swirled in there. This is also beautiful to just kind of blend out edges if anything gets too bright or too harsh. This is going to be a beautiful blush. Now, I will not start like aggressively working on this until my Ofra Chiclet is done. So after Chiclet is done, I'll roll this into my project pan, and then you guys will be able to see me pan this every month and see the changes. Again, this is just an experiment for myself to see what it looks like to pan a full-size Hourglass blush. But we are starting at 46.94 on that one. Apart from, and I can just pop this in real quick, this is coming back in. I want to constantly be working on this. Again, my main goal is to use up shade number 2 on this one, but we will just be tracking this in my regular project pan. So this one is 117.33 for the palette. But I am rolling in another highlighter, and that is a Becca Mini, and so this is in Moonstone. This is not my favorite shade from Becca. I prefer, now I can't remember it, Opal. Opal? I panned a mini last year. Why does it say that I panned a Champagne Pop? I panned another one. Yes, it was Opal. So I panned Opal in 2021, and I still think about that highlighter. So I think that if I can finish up shade 2 and finish up Moonstone, I might reward myself by buying a full size of Opal from Smashbox, who now carries Becca highlighters. If I pan that in 2021 and I'm still thinking about it 4 years later, okay, maybe that stuck with me. Maybe that is my highlighter, but we do already have a beautiful pan on this one, so we are not starting from, you know, scratch. We're not starting from fresh. But I did say that if I can empty out shade 2 in this one, I would repress Moonstone into this palette so that I would just have one palette of highlighters. So we're going to continue to kind of see. I also wouldn't mind if I had just the slightest bit of shade 2 left, mixing it in with Moonstone, because again, Moonstone is a little bit icy for me, and I feel like this deeper, more cool tone shade would tone it down just a little bit. So that's probably what I'll end up doing when we are getting down to just the dredges of shade 2. I'll just mix it with this, repress it, and we'll see where we go from there. But when we're starting with the component itself, we're starting at 22.42 grams. So we have our highlighters for the year. Let's look at our lip products. So my main lipstick that I want to focus on, which this is my oldest lipstick, is my Pat McGrath Fembot. And this one is this beautiful cool toned pink shade here. If my, yep, camera will focus. And let me do a little swatcheroo for you guys, because I do love this shade. It is the Matte Trance Formula, which I actually really like. It does feel kind of silicone-y, but to me that keeps it feeling comfortable on the lips. So we are starting with 34.52 on the Matte Trance lipstick, and I would love to get another lipstick out of my collection. Now, what I consider done, because we do have quite a bit of progress, but once we reach the plastic here, that's when I'm calling it done. And then I'll dig out the rest, I'll mix it into my cream blushes, and that will be a lipstick empty. But once we hit that plastic, once I can no longer apply it to my lips through the component, that we're considering that an empty. I do have another one of my Summer Fridays lip butter bombs rolled into this project. This is in iced coffee, and this is where we're starting. I believe there is an air bubble in there. There was an air bubble in my vanilla beige that once I hit that air bubble, we had a huge jump on this one. So I can't really mark, like I can't fold this over and mark it because there is air in there. I tried to set it upside down to see if the product would settle and I could get the air bubble out. I can't. You just, when you hit the air bubble, you hit the air bubble. But I love this one. I love the Summer Friday Butter Bombs. I have 3 of them in my collection. So I do, this is now my oldest one, so I do want to go ahead and work on iced coffee. We're starting at 17.88 grams on my Butter Bomb. Then we have another Sephora gloss that I want to work on. And this is the gloss that I did have on my lips at the beginning of the video. Let me reapply real quick, but it is this beautiful red shade. Beautiful pigment to it, but this is the Sephora gloss. No, this is the Sephora gloss in Dangerous. Now, I've used this just a few times, so this is pretty much full. So I mean, if I set it on its side, we end up with an air bubble, but otherwise when it's sitting upright, we do not have any air bubbles. We cannot see any gaps at the top. So this is pretty much full to the top. I think before weighing this at the beginning of the year, I had maybe used it 3 or 4 times. So we are really being able to do some accurate tracking on this product, but we are rolling in at 40.37 for our Dangerous Gloss. Once I hit a point where it settles and we have some windowing, then I will mark it, but otherwise we are considering this, we are starting from the top of this product. So we have that. I am going to continue to track and work on my Hourglass lipstick in If Only. This is my oldest lipstick, and this is my second oldest lipstick. So definitely want to work on this one. I'll give you guys a little bit of a swatchy swatch of this one too. It is a warmer color than Fembot. So this is If Only, and this is Fembot. So definitely we have a little bit of a cooler tone pink and a warmer pink. Almost like for some reason that reminds me of like a warm colored like peony. So going to continue working on this one. Again, our weight is 21.56. So I do have all of these marked in my journal. I have everything ready to go for tracking. So we are looking good for that. But we have my 2 lip liners that I am going to go ahead and be tracking and wanting to finish up this year. I've used enough of these ColourPop lip liners because that I already know that they take about 7 months to use. So by my calculations, when I started using Brink, I should be able to use Brink and Good and Plenty up in 2025. By my calculations, we will see how that goes. But with Brink, which this is in my project pan, so I've been tracking this the entire time I have been using it, and then Good and Plenty, which these will go really, really good with the lipsticks that I'm panning as well. So Brink is right there, and Good and Plenty is right there. So again, really good lip liner shades to be mixing with these. And I think Good and Plenty will be a very nice shade to go with Fembot. So we will see how that goes. If you guys can see the difference in the, so Good and Plenty is a brand new one, just out of the box. And then Brink is the one that I've been working on so far in 2024. So these two will be gone by the end of 2025. Let's look at my eyeliners that I want to use. So again, these won't look really, really different, but I did mark these down in my journal. So this is the Sephora 12-Hour Color Pencil in Tiramisu. It's just a dark brown shade. I don't know if I got a dud because this one has been dry since the moment that I opened it. It is a nice dark shade. It's just difficult for me to use. I want to use this as just kind of along the lash line, a little bit of a wing, and doing my tight line. But this is so dry that it's uncomfortable to do that. And I think I told you guys that because I rolled this into my project pan because I want to track this one. This is my main eyeliner for 2025 that I want to track. And I'm not hate panning it yet. If it gets uncomfortable, if it gets, I don't want to say dangerous, but like if it really does start like crumbling off into my eyes or like really like being uncomfortable when I'm trying to tightline with it, then I'm just going to declutter it. I'm not going to hate pan an eyeliner that is a bad formula or whatever, but I do want to try to get as much use out of this. With it being a dark brown, this one hopefully will be easier for me to use compared to Vice, which was a dark like purple. So we will see how I do on this one. And then my next eyeliner that I want to use up is a Makeup Geek liner. This one actually, like they threw this one in for free whenever I ordered a bunch of the empty compacts. And this one is in Gunmetal, so it's just a like a dark silver, and I actually do have this on my tight line today. I like using it as a tight line just because it adds a little bit of that like cool smokiness to my tight line. So this one, we have quite a bit on this one to go. Look at all that. So I'll just have to see what I can do with this one. I think I used up the Nude one so quickly, number one, because it got crumbly, but also because I was using it in my waterline to brighten up my eyes. So that one went really quickly. This one, not so much. And because this one is metallic versus matte, it's not as crumbly, so it hasn't crumbled yet. So we'll see how far I can get with this one. Like I said, this one was free. It was just thrown into my package that when I bought from Makeup Geek because Makeup Geek was going out of business. So, I mean, I didn't spend any money on this, but also I do want to see some eyeliners get rolled out of my collection. So we have these two eyeliners that we're working on. and I don't think I gave you the weight. So 4.55 on tiramisu and 4.47 on Gunmetal from Makeup Geek. So those are our two liners. I do have my eyeshadow primer. So this is the Milani eyeshadow primer. I use this every single day as my primer on my lids before I do my shadow. And I opened this on 5/11/2024, and this is how far we've gotten. So that has been open since the middle of May. And when you can't squeeze anything else out of this, if you squeeze harder, you'll get like 3 more months of use out of this. So I am very curious how long this will last. And I started tracking it now, but I was not tracking it before. But I think if I look at my glitter glue, which let me actually go into my eye primer. So I opened my glitter glue 2 months before the Milani one, but I tracked my glitter glue because I want to see how many uses I can get on my NYX glitter glue. From tracking my glitter glue from March of last year, I had 192 uses. So let's just say I do my makeup 20 something times. So even if we took like 40 something uses off of the glitter glue, that means that I've already used this 150 times, give or take. But I started tracking at the beginning of the year, so we're going to be tracking it from this point here to see how many more uses we got. But I can safely assume that there was already 150 uses on this before we got to this point. So again, a really good product, but I do want to repurchase my MAC paint pot in Painterly to use. I really enjoyed using that one a couple years ago, so I really want to go back to that, but this was already in my collection, so I wanted to use this and not just let it to continue to sit there. But we are starting with 8.88 grams, and again, I am tracking all of my usage, so we will see how far we get on that one. I do have So that's all my makeup products. I do have 2 polishes and a perfume rolled into this project as well. So our first one is my Holo Taco Fallen Flaky, and it's this beautiful, it was from the fall collection, but this beautiful flaky in there that is iridescent, and it shifts from like gold to orange to blue to green. Like the shifts in here are just gorgeous. But I did mark it with a little bit of polish to show where we're starting. So I want to see how much use I can get on this. Now this one is already starting to get thick and a little bit hard to use. So I might have to add some thinner to this, which will add weight, but not really. But you guys know nail polishes, basically when this thing is done, it'll be done. I won't be able to get every single scrap of polish out of here because that is just the nature of nail polishes. But we are starting with 58.45 grams on this polish. And it is just beautiful. So this will be very easy for me to use. The other polish that I have rolled in here is from ILNP. And this is in the shade Misery. And I just purchased this last year. And look at how far down I already am. Actually, let me show you the part that has the mark. Look at that. Like, I love this shade. And pairing these two together is just beautiful. So this one here was part of their like Halloween fall collection, and I love it. So same thing with this, you know, I might have to add some thinner to it from time to time, but we are starting with 54.15 grams, and we will be able to see with our line markings as far as how far we're going down to. With, if you guys caught my inventory, with my husband buying me that Star Wars collection from Mooncat, I'm glad I decided to roll in some polishes because I definitely need to get some used up since I just brought 7 more polishes into my collection. And my perfume is and a few of you spelled it out for me in the comments, but I've already forgotten. Machino? Machino, I think. I think you said it's not like Machino cherries. It's like what with the chino in it. So Machino? Maybe I will get it right by the end of the year, but this is my toy to fragrance. I have gone through this size. I've gone through a travel size of this. I love this scent. I think I've like gushed enough about it, but if you're new to my channel, this scent reminds me, and I'm 40, so grew up in the 80s, when you would go to the mall and you would walk into a Claire's. This is what Claire's smells like. So it's a fruity, like, because it's very fruity, which, hold on. Yeah, it's fruity, little bit of vanilla maybe. I'm really bad at scents because, again, I'm allergic to everything, so my sinuses are constantly clogged. But just, if you can picture yourself 11, 12 years old, excited to go into Claire's and look at all the sparkles and pick out a choker for yourself, you know, maybe some jelly bracelets. If you can picture what that smells like, that's what this is. I really enjoy layering this with my other fragrances. And actually, this is a fragrance that I like to spray before I go to bed. Because again, it kind of surrounds me with that nostalgia. Like, it's very calming. So I love this. I got this on Amazon, which again, I hope this is not a knockoff, but it looks just like it, so I'm pretty sure it's the real thing. I got this for $35 for a 1.7 ounce. So it's not breaking the bank either. I really, really like this one, but I did mark our back. So let me actually look. I bought this one in August of 2024, and this is already how far down I am. Look at that. This is not going to be hard for me to finish. And I could have put in a more difficult perfume, but I think like my more expensive perfumes, like my Burberrys and my Commodity and stuff like that, like I don't want to race through those. I don't need to race through those. Those are also not as easy for me to wear. This is easy for me to wear. I don't mind racing through this and repurchasing this. This was $35. I'm not upset about it, but I love this fragrance. Like, I can't see myself not having this fragrance in my collection just because of even the nice scent memories tied to this one. So I did not weigh this one yet. Let me grab my scale and actually see if my scale will register. I have a jewelry scale, and so I know sometimes it will, I'm going to weigh it without the head, because I know if we're getting close to it not being able to, yeah, so this is too heavy for my jewelry scale to register. I do have a kitchen scale. It doesn't go as precisely, but I think that without weighing this one, we will be able to see really good progress as far as me tracking it with just putting my marks on the back. And I will mark it every month, but I will update this project every quarter. So whenever you guys see my line markings, we are going to be seeing the big jumps, like 3 jumps at a row. I hope that makes sense, but I think that watching me pan a lot of these through my project pans, if I get a certain prompt in deck of panning, I might roll these into deck of panning. I'm going to keep these polishes and these eyeliners in my rotation for my project 10 uses. So if I roll Misery into my project 10 uses, I'm going to get my 10 uses on this while also focusing on it for this project. So this is almost kind of like my grab bag of products that I can roll into other projects that I can show you like month by month tracking in my project pans. So we will have a lot of fun looking at these products throughout the year. You guys know I do my big tracking, which if you guys didn't catch it, I did a not a plan to pan, but it was like a panning reset video. I posted that in December, and that was basically me showing you how I set up my journal, how I do my spreadsheets, how I do my trackings, all of that. You guys found that really, really helpful. A lot of you guys have been putting in comments saying, oh, I set up my journal, or I went out and I got my graph paper to do my No Pan Left Behind. You like DM me questions like, hey, how do you set this up? And I let you guys know. Any way that we can be a little bit more mindful about how long it takes to use up these products so we're not bringing in more and more and more, I am all about it. So if you guys have questions, comments, anything, let me know. Suggestions, recommendations, I am always open to them. So I hope that you guys enjoy the stuff that I'm putting out. Like I said, I will be updating this quarterly. So our next update for this will be in January, February, March. So I'll have to be at the end of March. So April 10th will be our next update. But of course, you guys will see a lot of these products being used in my project pan, and I am so excited about Deck of Panning coming back. So we will have a lot of great progress for this year. Lots of panning, lots of excitement. I do still need to film my year-long empties, so that will be coming up. I do have my buys and buys, which I will probably film later this week because I have a huge container over there that is overflowing with empties for December. So I want to do my buys and buys first before I do my year-long empties, because of course that bucket needs to go into my year-long empties. So I am very excited about Deck of Panning coming back. I'm excited about resetting my wheels for my Project 10 uses and my No Pan Left Behind. So I am just super, super thrilled and excited about a year of panning for 2025. This is going to be a fabulous year of some challenges, but also of some really good empties. So I hope that you guys stick around. I am going to encourage you guys to do all the things of hitting the thumbs up button, hitting that subscribe button, stick around for Project Panning, Cotton's Consumerism, beauty budgets. And I was just interrupted because UPS rang the doorbell with 3 German Shepherds. But I was saying, stick around, hit that subscribe button if you like. What do we do? What do we do over here? We do panning, conscious consumerism, beauty budgets, talking about puppy dogs, psychobabbles, get ready with me's. Again, my No Pan Left Behind, using my collection, all of that stuff. If that sounds interesting to you, hit that subscribe button, stick around. It helps me out a lot. It's free for you guys. Drop me that comment down below. Let me know how you guys are doing. I know in my last plan to pan video, you guys told me what you're planning on doing on 2025 with mixing beauty products with your makeup. So let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how you guys are setting that up. You guys know I love our conversations down below in the comment section, so drop me a line. But otherwise, I'm going to go because I have a lot of B-roll, a lot of stuff to kind of compile for this video. I know that you guys appreciate the extra little piece of work that I put into these videos, and I appreciate you guys for being around here because that's why I do it. So I do want to wish each and every one of you guys a beautiful day, and I'm going to catch you in my next one.